Tip number 5 is about social media and avoiding putting personal information, things like your birthday and where you live and your address and things like that, and even photographs and things that contain those things onto social media, and also being wary of putting a bit of something on one social media platform, a bit of something else on another one, and a criminal being able to piece together quite a lot of information about you from those different sources. But I guess my question is, I don't think like a criminal. What can they do with that information? Why might it be interesting and useful and to them and dangerous to us as individual social media users?
Imagine this. You're a high-level executive at a company. You go, stretch that imagination.
If only.
You go away, you're quite a private individual. You don't do social media. You maybe do Facebook every so often, but you like more than anything else. You don't interact. You get home from your holiday, which was delightful, with your family, only to find that you have had your household contents and your cars removed by individuals. Bottom line, you're stunned because how did these people know?
So to be clear, they were burgled.
All right.
Robbing your house.
Yes.
Wow.
Right. So, but you're mystified because how? Well, it transpires that your college-going daughter tagged you on every aspect of your journey and shared your flight details when you departed the country. The car service you took, by the way, it was a lovely, lovely car service. Then the hotels you stayed at, the dinners you ate, the restaurants you ate at, every aspect of your journey was tagged and noted on 2 social media platforms, as was the date of your return flight. You were so looking forward to getting back in a week and a half, blah, 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 right? That is a lot of information to somebody who socially engineers. They look at these accounts, they look at top-level income earners. If you are an attractive target, then you will be followed. And it's not difficult. It doesn't require you as an individual to share your information. People in your orbit can share the information.
And in that example, it wasn't...
This is just general...
The high-level executive, high earner wasn't even the one who was targeted.
No.
It was a member of their family. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
So you don't think like a criminal, and that's wonderful. Most of us do not.
I try not to.
Maybe we should talk offline later. But the thing is that you don't know how your data is going to be used. The most innocent of use becomes the most nefarious purpose for somebody who has ill intent. So you have to apply a measure of common sense and critical thinking. There is nothing private anymore if you share on social media. It gets shared. So there's 2 elements to understand here. There's your own personal responsibility with regards to how you share and what you share on social media. It will be used in the future. More and more employers are looking at your social media feeds. They're ascertaining the nature of the individual in question. Who are you? How do you behave? Are you the kind of person we want in our employment? So be clear. Everything you post on social media is there, and it's there for a long time. You'll be very lucky if you can get it taken down. Once it's there, it's there. So be clear, what you do now will stand instead in the future. You will be judged on it. That's the first one. The second is somebody wanting to use your data against you. So if you are, sharing on LinkedIn that you're doing this project, that you're using this equipment, that you're using this type of, company, you share a lot of information. All of that information gets used in social engineering purposes, which means that they can cultivate emails tailored against the information you've shared, and then they can spoof somebody you know. So they can get through...
So they would use your personal social media to
information
try
that you share
and hack
it's
your
a hook.
employer.
So if you're working on a project and somebody wants to get inside the corporate system, right? And they say you were working on something, for example, like Project Bletchley. And you mentioned that on LinkedIn, working on Project Bletchley, so good to be working with their design team, blah, blah, blah. You have the opportunity as an attacker to engineer a conversation through email that is relatable to the individual on the receiving end. So John will get an email around Project Bletchley. It's familiar to you. It's not a threat.
So I might think you're a supplier. The threat actor, the criminal, I might think they are a legitimate supplier.
Correct. Something to that effect.
They might say, click on so-and-so link to look at our catalogue of things.
Or they'll say, here's the latest invoice for this related to Project Bletchley.
And once I've clicked on it, my employer's systems
will be compromised.
Compromised.
That's why the information you shared forms a picture that they then use. And in some cases, extremely sophisticated emails that bypass the security controls that we have at the corporate level. These are how this is what we call spear phishing. Mm-hmm. It is sophisticated emails that are delivered using social engineering to make sure that the individual on the receiving end, you, are more than likely to open because it is a familiar conversation, a familiar receipt to you.
Sure.
So yes, whatever you share on social media has currency to somebody that has, ill intent.
I'll have to look up my MySpace account from the early noughties and make sure everything is okay. Wow. I was an early adopter of MySpace and have been interested in social media.
I'm sure if they could have, they would have.
Ever since.
But we're joking about this, and I get it. But when it comes to social media platforms and what you share, you may be harsh on companies because they get compromised and your data gets stolen or lost and what have you. Also remember that you are responsible for your own data, and you are sharing that data more often than not innocently and with impunity.
But you're sharing it with the whole world. You're sharing
it. Unless your private settings are on, you're sharing it with communities of people that you don't even know exist. You don't know where that data is going to go.
Sure.
Right? So I would say be cautious of what you share, but sometimes I think that we're too late for that, unfortunately.
Thank you.